I'm jumping into the intro right now. Welcome to HRL. Reach Throwback, week number 3, round number 5 on Road America here. You saw the heat race, I hope. If you didn't, check your damn sub box. We're going into the feature. We got the lineup left to right. Blake, Sol, Detail, Luke, Nuked, Roman, Solange, Opix, and Turkey. That is our lineup. We're going to go all the way up here. Again, the green line, the sprint line. That is when we're starting. So like the ovals, we'll do it that way for the feature. Are these guys going? Fuck! All right, cut that out. Cut that out. I thought they were gonna just start going. All right, and when they get to this fuck. Ah! All right, and when they get to the sprint line, we're going to be going green. Blake and Sol inching close to, and here we go. Green flag for 16 laps at Road America. Roaring into turn 1, going into the fake turn number 2. And we have a side-by-side battle. That's lore. I'll point it out in the next lap if you weren't aware. That's some track lore. But anyways, Blake holding on that lead. Detail getting his way by Sol. Oh! And Roman just absolutely destroying that rock. Look at this. Look at that. Look at how far away he is. Wow, he just recovered and got going again. I would if this weren't Reach Theater, I absolutely would have shown 5 replays of that just to rub it in his face. But it is Reach Theater, and I don't want to replay 1,000 times to watch it like 5 times. So we're going to move on. But anyways, it's going to be a big recovery for Roman. That's an awful way to start the race, of course. And he's going to have to really maintain the composure here. Shout out to Halo World Championships, all about maintaining the composure. But yeah, he's nowhere near anyone. He's probably going to have to hope for some other wrecks. Uncle Blake leads the first lap down. And we'll see if he can bring it back later in the race. Right now, Luke got by Sol as well throughout all that. So it's Blake, Detail, Luke, top 3, Sol. Falling back to 4th place. Solange has made some moves and moved up past Nuked into 5th place. He's in 6th. Opix is 7th. Turkey's 8th. And then, of course, Roman back there in 9th. So you go through turn 5. Detail with a really good run. Going to try to make it work into the carousel potentially. Is it going to happen? It is not. But you can tell that... Oh, what the hell was that? I'm glad we just caught the end of that. Solange has like a lag flip. Did Roman just conk again? Dude. Solange has like a lag flip while he's battling with those other drivers in the mid pack. I'm not exactly sure why that... I mean, that's a classic Reach lag flip. And look at this. Luke, outside of the Canada corner, actually gets a run on Detail all the way into the front stretch and might be able to make a pass happen here. And this could be spicy. Oh, look at this. Looking for a little draft. That might actually be working. And going into turn number 1, it's going to be close with the rumble. Look at how close Detail was to that wall right there. That probably shaved some hairs off the thighs right there. But he was okay and was able to keep running. So go into turn 5 again. It wouldn't have shaved any hairs off of Roman's thighs because they're already not there. Anyways, this is a bad idea to do the commentary at this time of the night. Carousel, Blake has a rough run, Luke has a good run, but not in the right position. So Detail's going to make a run to the inside. He's going to take the spot back going into the carousel, and that's a tricky part of the track because so like I think Detail and Luke get runs on Blake in that section, but it's not gonna, like, you have to set it up right. You have to set it up right. Like, if you're on his left, it's not going to work. So right there, the track position just wasn't the right way that it should have been for Luke. Wasn't the right spot to be to make that pass work. Detail takes advantage and makes the pass back. Oh yeah, we're definitely hitting some drafts. You might see a couple drafts. I'm pretty sure I drafted with Opix in the heat race for a little bit. But there might be some drafts throughout this race. With this track's straightaways, it's a GP where you can like legitimately get the draft going for a little bit. This podium battle is pretty great right now, by the way. And Sol's kind of inching back into it. And Detail's even looking to Blake's inside. And they've got pace, but where do you go for the pass? And that's the tricky part of this track. And look at this, like what happened to Luke last lap happens to Detail this lap. and Luke's going to make the move back on Detail through the carousel. And again, it's just difficult. Like, you just have to position yourself properly there. Blake doesn't seem to have this. That seems to be one of his worst corners in the track. So you have to try to position yourself properly to set up for that, because you're gonna have to want to be on his inside there, because not only is the carousel an inside turn, the kink goes to the inside, then the turn Canada corner all the way down also goes to the inside. So you're not going to make anything happen if you're to his left there. I don't care how good your run is. He'd have to hit the rock. He'd have to hit the rock. That's the only way. It's not going to work to the outside. So it's going to be about, you know, it's tricky. Like, if they want to make this pass on Blake, I feel like they have to be like a certain distance away from him. Like, they can't be too close. If you're too close, it's not going to work. So we'll see how they play it. And Soul, speaking of which, Soul is just kind of lurking. Soul is just kind of lurking in fourth, so if anything crazy happens, he's there. Like, he's not that far off the pace. And again, Luke just having the run, but on the left side. But luckily for him this time, Detail was a little bit farther back, so didn't have to worry about losing the second place spot. Real quick, we'll get an update on the rest of the field. So yeah, Soul's still there. Turkey has worked his way into the top 5. Opix 6th, Nuked 7th. I think had some issues somewhere throughout that, and Slaunch 8th, Roman 9th. And look at this, Roman's got a little pack in front of him, not that far away. Roman is making the comeback. Unbelievable. Well, maybe. I don't know. He might. It's not really guaranteed yet, but it's looking good. It's looking good. He might have a chance. Word to Dumb and Dumber, because you're saying there's a chance. Fuck. Luke's got a good run on Blake here, trying to chase him down in second place. Gonna try to make a look to the inside in turn 5. Not gonna happen. Do you guys remember the scene in Dumb and Dumber when the bird, like, got fucking killed? It's kind of crazy, right? So he's gonna try to make a move here into the carousel again, and has a little bit of a run. I need to watch that movie again. Little bit of a run, but not going to complete the pass. Again, just a bit of a run there, and positioned a little bit better, but not. I think Blake hit it a little bit better that time than he has been. But you can tell Luke's all over it, and maybe on the inside here, but it's just not. It's just barely not enough. It's just barely not enough, and Blake's just defending the best that he possibly can right now. And this battle for the podium has been pretty sweet so far this race. A lot better than the battle in Arena GP where Roman just couldn't fucking run a goddamn lap cleanly. Fuck! This has been a lot better than that. A lot more clean racing. A lot more clean, like, defensive battling. Not just one man that bogs every single time he takes a corner. That is not that hard to avoid the bog in. Sorry, Roman, but come on, man. Listen to your new Taylor Swift album and figure it out. Figure it out. Detail and Luke have a pretty good run on Blake right here. We'll see if they can set it up. Again, I just feel like this has got to be the spot, because this seems to be Blake's worst spot. But again, the track positioning, Luke goes to the outside. It's not where you need to be. Just too close, but Detail was too close behind. And he's going to make the move, and he's going to make the pass. So again, just the same pass that they keep making on each other. The rubber band moves that they just keep going back and forth. It just keeps happening, and it's just tough because you're worried about the guy behind you, so you can't, like, stall too much because you don't want to get past. But at the same time, if you're going to be on Blake's outside because of the run that you have, you're going to get past anyways. So, like, what do you do? What do you do? That's the question that Detail and Luke have been trying to answer this entire race. And will they be able to do it? As we take a look at the checkpoint count, a little over halfway to go in this race. So they have some time to do it. Oh, it's not really halfway. So we started the heat race, and the checkpoints are combined with that. So this will end on, like, 40, I think. Like, 40 is when it'll end, around about. Oh, look at this. Wait, this is not where I expected it to happen. Massive run out of turn 5, but he's stuck in the outside again. But this time Blake hits the rocks, and it ends up getting into Luke. It gets the bog. This opens up the door for Soul. What an eventful part of the lap. Detail has a really good turn 5, brings it all the way through the uphill, but is stuck on the outside. But Blake had a bad enough run to where he got into the rocks, and that was so huge for Detail. If that rock contact didn't happen, it probably wouldn't have worked again. It probably wouldn't have worked to make that pass, but he was able to battle hard enough to force him into that. And it worked out, so the patience eventually paid off. And that was a crazy move with the momentum. I might have to look at a replay of that later. I'm not going to do it right now because it's going to ruin the fucking thing. But later when I get off, maybe I'll look at that and throw it in the video, because I don't know how he had such a good run there. That was pretty nice. And as you can see, the pace with Detail's already stretching the gap a bit. I think Luke and Detail definitely had some pace there, but Blake's just been doing a really good job holding on. So Detail's already getting that gap, and Luke's already trying to get back up there, thinking there's still a chance at second place, trying to get by Soul as quick as he possibly can, literally just working every single possible opening, and finds the opening that he couldn't find on Blake to the inside. And look at this, they're battling side by side, and this is going to get tricky. This Canada corner is really tough, side by side, and they go into it. Oh, come on. I mean, bro, even in the theater, I was clear by like a goose. Like, I don't know, man. Thoughts on the peanut gallery in the chat? I don't know. I feel even in the theater, like that was pretty far away. Honestly, I think what went down there. Well, for one, that's a really hard corner to make too wide. So that is probably, if not the hardest corner to make too wide on the track, it's got to be like top 2. It's one of the hardest corners to make too wide. And for Soul, all right, Soul, I'll hit you with the pro racer tip here. Hit the crossover. Go for the crossover. Scrub the speed. Hit the crossover next time, because you know that if you're on the outside there, you're going into the rocks, right? Because even if the person on the inside's like hitting the rumble, it's just not going to happen. So next time you're in that situation, hit the crossover there, try to work that, and I guarantee you it'll work out a lot better and you'll stay on the battle. So there you go. There's the quick tips with Luch. I don't give out these quick tip quickies anymore, all right? I don't give these out for free. So Soul, that'll be $25 coupon to Little Caesars in my DMs by Tuesday morning. So you better be on that shit. But there you go. There's a quick tip quickie for you. Soul's now recovered. He did recover, though. He actually had a pretty big gap, so he's still in 4th. He's ahead of Nuked, who's worked his way into 5th. Turkey's in 6th now. Roman 7th. Look at that. Roman's on the comeback. Opix 8th, and Slunch just must be having a rough race in 9th. Yeah, it's a really, that's the hardest part of the track to make too wide. And also, you just got to be like aware of the parts of the track where those rock traps are, because you just have to know that if you're gonna be the guy on the outside going into those rocks, you just have to know that it's a risk, and you just have to think like, okay, is it worth it? Like, am I gonna, because think about it, even if Soul sticks the outside right there, let's say he doesn't go into the rocks, right? I already had a pretty good run. I already had him pretty damn well cleared, and we're going into one like quick left-hander into 2 big right-handers. You know what I mean? So, like, he's probably losing the spot eventually anyways. These are the things you need to think about, all right? Fernando Alonso, I'm going rogue, would tell you that you got to think about what lies ahead in the track, right? It's not always about the corner that you're in when you're battling. You got to think about what lies ahead, especially in these road courses, and set yourself up for that, you know? It's always a little bit of a chess match like that. It's not always just not lifting. Word to Bubba Wallace. It's, you gotta have a little give and take. You gotta have a little give and take. Sometimes letting off and setting up is the right way. It doesn't feel good. But sometimes you gotta lose the battle to try to win the war, and that's how you'll start getting some consistent top finishes and winning out those battles. I don't hand out these tips for free. Who's paying for that one? That's another one. Who the fuck's paying for that one? Roman? God damn it, Wednesday morning, if I don't have your entire Taylor Swift album review in my fucking DMs, I'm banning you. How many laps are left? All right, so Detail's going to 4 laps to go this time by. And speaking of by, he couldn't get by. Ha, you thought it was going to be a by joke. It wasn't. He couldn't get by Roman in Arena GP that entire time through the battle, but this time was able to get by Blake, was able to get by Luke, was able to get by Soul, and look at the gap that he's opened up with 4 laps to go. This is going to be a really tough, especially with Luke and Blake battling, this is going to be a really tough gap for them to work down. So really good patience and move when it happened, and as you can see, it's paying off. He basically just has to fuck up. Like, he has to hit a rock if he's going to cost this race, because the pace is there, and he's built himself a bit of a buffer. So could be looking for his first moto win, which is funny, even though he's gotten an overall. Looking for the first moto win in the Reach Throwback for him, and looking to do it on a GP if he possibly can. Again, looked strong in Arena, but just wasn't able to make it work. Definitely, I think, had some competition throughout the field on this one, but Detail just had the best heat race. and the best patience in the moto, I'd say, is what it came down to. And again, it's not always about getting up there fast as fuck. Sometimes, word to Keemstar, sometimes it's about the patience, which is what we were talking about earlier. And I think this track exemplifies that a lot, because this track is all about waiting for those errors, you know, trying to position yourself properly for when the person in front of you fucks up. Like, that's basically what this track's all about. And again, this is a track that I think, I'll admit it, lends itself more towards like long form racing. Like, let's be real, I bet like a long ass race with like pit stops on this track would slap. I bet it'd be pretty good. Like, it would suit this very well. But that's the thing, we don't have that. These motos are a bit longer, but we don't have that. It's not the full endurance. So it's a tough balance, right? You got to think long term, but you don't have pit stops, you don't have that strategy. And look at this, Blake has a bit of a rough run through the Canada corner. Luke had a really nice stick on the inside, and suddenly this might be it for this battle. Sticking it to the inside, hitting the rumble. A little rock contact, but not too bad for Blake on that one. And that's how Luke will take second place with 2 to go. Working that battle literally the entire moto, and finally able to get by Blake. So now Detail in first, Luke in second, Blake third. Can Blake fight back? Soul and Nuked there, and Roman getting pretty close to Turkey as well. He's had a great comeback, not gonna lie. Let's take a look at Nuked and Soul. I think this is probably going to be the closest battle to close out this race. We'll see if Nuked can make this happen. This could be a huge final position for him to pick up if he can possibly do it. And also, like, credit to Soul, all right? Even with the stuff that I said earlier, massive improvement, massive improvement. This Road America race compared to his last GP race and just, like, a lot of his reach performances in general, very solid performance from Soul on this one. He's done a pretty great job so far. Definitely had podium potential if things went a little different in certain situations. You know, his start wasn't the greatest, but a pretty good improvement. You got to give him credit for that. Got to shout out, low-key, white flag, by the way. Got to shout out Uncle Blake as well. He's actually been performing very consistently across many different track types in our early rounds here. And Nuke's been having a solid start to the season as well, but just not having a great run of it in this race. And again, it's tough. Like, one mistake, one mishap, or just getting caught up in somebody else's one mistake can really cost you. Again, without the pit stops, without the super long endurance race, it's tough, man. It's tough to come back from. Same thing goes for Roman. What? He got by Turkey! Oh, I'm gonna have to record replays later. What the hell? How did that happen? But anyways, Detailed doing it, getting out of the Canada corner, and he's only got one more to go, and he's gonna go up the hill. And there are some Johnsonville brats waiting in his trailer for winning this race. He's gonna take it at Road America. First reach throwback win for him on the season. Luke second, Blake third, Soul fourth, Nuked fifth, Roman 6th, Turkey 7th, Opix bringing it home in 8th, and Slaunch, rough go of it, in 9th. So there you go. He's got Johnsonville brats and cheese curds waiting in his trailer for taking the win in the North State. Detail taking his first win on the season. Luke taking second. Blake taking another podium. So great performances out of them. Good way to start the night for them. We'll see which one of them can come out on top when we head over to Snake Run, and I'll see you guys there.